What happens when street loyalty, hip-hop royalty, and family boundaries all collide in one explosive moment? Imagine waking up to see one rap legend publicly calling out another, not over charts, not over money, but over respect for someone's mother. Not just any mother, but the late mother of 50 Cent. That's exactly the kind of storm that shook social media when Boosie lit into T.I and King Harris, and the internet has not been the same since. Picture this. The hip-hop world is already buzzing. Old rivalries never truly die, and in rap, words carry weight, sometimes more than fists. Then suddenly, Boosie steps in with fire in his voice and conviction in his heart, making it clear he believes a line was crossed that should never be crossed. The issue: alleged disrespect toward the grave of 50 Cent's mother. Now, if you know anything about hip-hop culture, you know one thing is sacred: family. Especially mothers. Across generations, from the streets of Queens to the South, mothers represent struggle, sacrifice, and survival. For 50 Cent, whose life story includes losing his mother at a young age under tragic circumstances, that topic isn't just sensitive, it's deeply personal. Let's rewind for context. 50 Cent, born Curtis Jackson, built his persona on toughness. Bullet wounds, betrayal, business brilliance, he turned pain into power. But behind the empire and the icy demeanor lies a story of loss. His mother, Sabrina Jackson, was murdered when he was just 8 years old. That trauma shaped the man he would become. It's part of the foundation of the legend. So when accusations or jokes, direct or indirect, surface about disrespecting her grave, it's not just rap banter. It hits deeper. Enter Boosie. Boosie, never one to stay quiet, came forward passionately condemning what he saw as a violation of an unwritten rule. According to him, beef is beef, but the dead, especially someone's mother, are off limits. He called it foul. He called it wrong. And he didn't mince words. But here's where it gets even more layered. T.I, a respected Southern rap veteran, entrepreneur, and self-proclaimed king of the South, has long had a complicated relationship with 50 Cent. Their history isn't brand new drama. There have been subtle jabs, tension-filled interviews, and moments where fans wondered if a full-blown rap war would erupt. Now bring King Harris into the picture. King Harris, T.I.'s son, has been carving out his own identity, sometimes controversially, often making headlines for his outspoken nature and clashes both online and offline. Young, fiery, and raised in a household of rap royalty, King doesn't shy away from the spotlight. But critics argue that stepping into grown-man rap beef territory, especially involving legends like 50 Cent, comes with consequences. When Boosie addressed both T.I and King Harris, it wasn't just about one moment. It felt like a broader commentary about respect, generational differences, and knowing when a line shouldn't be crossed. Here's what makes this so captivating. It's not just about three names. It's about principles in hip-hop. Boosie's stance struck a chord because he framed it as bigger than personal beef. He suggested that no matter how deep a rivalry runs, certain boundaries are sacred. Mothers. Graves. The deceased. Those aren't battlegrounds, they're off-limit zones. And fans. They were divided. Some backed Boosie, praising him for standing on what they see as old-school values. They argued that hip-hop has lost some of its code, and moments like this prove why OGs feel the need to speak up. Others questioned whether Boosie inserting himself was necessary. After all, 50 Cent is known for handling his own battles, often with surgical precision and icy humor. Did he need backup? Or was Boosie defending something symbolic? Then there's T.I.'s position. T.I, who has carefully cultivated an image of intellect mixed with street wisdom, doesn't typically respond recklessly. Over the years, he's positioned himself as someone who thinks before he fires back publicly. But tension with 50 Cent has flared before. Their exchanges have ranged from competitive to personal. So when the topic shifted to something as sensitive as a mother's grave, the temperature of the situation instantly rose. What makes this even more compelling is how social media amplifies everything. In the era of viral clips and instant reactions, a comment can spiral into a cultural moment within minutes. Narratives build fast. Opinions harden faster. And before long, millions of people are debating something that may have started as a line, a joke, or a misunderstood remark. But here's the emotional core. Why does this hit so hard? Because in hip-hop, pain is currency. 50 Cent's story, losing his mother, surviving violence, building an empire, has always been tied to resilience. His brand is rooted in overcoming trauma. So any perceived disrespect toward that trauma isn't just an insult, it's poking at the origin story. Boosie's reaction felt protective, not just of 50 Cent, but of a code he believes the culture should uphold. And let's be real, Boosie isn't exactly known for playing diplomat. When he speaks raw. That authenticity, whether people agree with him or not, is part of why his words carry weight. His not calculating brand strategy. His reacting from principle. Meanwhile, King Harris represents a new wave. One raised in privilege compared to the struggles many OGs endured. That generational contrast is impossible to ignore. Older rappers built their reputations in eras where consequences were immediate and sometimes violent. Younger artists grow up in a digital battleground where clout can be currency. So when Boosie calls out King directly, it almost feels like a warning shot, not a threat, but a reminder. Respect the history. Respect the pain. Respect the boundaries. But here's the twist that makes this story even more layered. 50 Cent himself is no stranger to crossing lines in beef. He's known for ruthless trolling, billboard stunts, and verbal warfare that leaves opponents scrambling. So some fans couldn't help but ask, isn't this part of the game 50 helped create? That's where it gets complicated. There's a difference, at least in many people's eyes, between roasting someone's career and targeting their deceased loved ones. And that distinction is exactly what Boosie leaned on. The debate quickly shifted from who said what, to what's off limits in hip-hop. Is everything fair game once you enter rap beef? Or are there sacred lines that define whether it's competitive or cruel? Hip-hop has always wrestled with this tension. From diss tracks that shook the industry to feuds that ended tragically, the culture walks a fine line between lyrical sport and real-life consequences. Boosie's outrage tapped into that history. And let's talk about optics. When established legends clash publicly, fans treat it like heavyweight boxing. But when family members, especially sons, enter the ring, the narrative shifts. It becomes about legacy. About what's inherited. About whether the next generation understands the gravity of the stage they're stepping onto. King Harris may see himself as defending honor or asserting dominance. Critics see risk. Because when names like 50 Cent and T.I are involved, it's not playground banter, it's global headlines. At the heart of it all is respect. Respect for the dead. Respect for pain. Respect for the culture. Boosie made it clear where he stands. Whether you agree with his delivery or not, his message resonated with many who feel hip-hop sometimes loses sight of its own moral compass. The bigger question now is, where does it go from here? Will this fizzle out as another viral flare-up? Or will it deepen already existing tensions between camps? One thing's for sure, hip-hop thrives on storytelling. And moments like this become chapters in a larger narrative about rivalry, pride, and principle. If you're watching this unfold, you're witnessing more than gossip. You're seeing a cultural debate in real time. Is loyalty louder than ego? Are there lines even the most ruthless lyricists shouldn't cross? And does calling someone out publicly preserve respect, or escalate disrespect? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this conversation isn't simple. It's layered. It's emotional. And it speaks to something bigger than just three names. At the end of the day, hip-hop is built on authenticity. Boosie showed his. T.I stands on his. 50 Cent has built an empire on his. The culture will decide how this moment is remembered. Was Boosie defending a sacred code? Was this blown out of proportion? Was this blown out of proportion? Or is this another example of how quickly modern rap beef spirals in the age of instant reaction? Stay locked in, because if history has taught us anything, when strong personalities collide in hip-hop, the story is never really over.